Charleston White calls out Lil Durk. Durk is guilty of murder-for-hire charges. He doesn't deserve to be released. Charleston White has sparked controversy once again with his harsh comments about Lil Durk, responding directly to the recent courtroom developments where Durk was relieved of his murder-for-hire charges. White didn't hold back, making it clear that while he may risk turning Durk's loyal fan base against him, he firmly believes Durk is guilty of the charges and shouldn't be walking free. The outspoken critic of hip-hop's wild side took to social media, voicing his frustrations not just about Durk, but about the entire culture of rappers getting away with serious crimes. White went as far as to say that he despises how these rappers manage to evade accountability, offering a scathing critique that calls out the system, their influence, and the fans who blindly support them. Charleston White's reaction to Lil Durk's legal victory has sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. Many fans of Durk, and even some observers of the case, felt that Durk's release from the murder-for-hire charges was a sign that the legal system had worked in his favor. After all, he had been cleared in the court of law, and this was supposed to mark a major victory for the rapper, who had been battling serious allegations that threatened his career and freedom. However, Charleston White, never one to shy away from controversy, has now thrown a wrench into the narrative, publicly challenging Durk's innocence and questioning the fairness of the entire situation. In his typical blunt fashion, White didn't mince words as he stated his thoughts on Durk's case. He made it clear that despite the legal ruling, he firmly believes that Lil Durk is guilty. For White, the fact that Durk had been released without facing the full consequences of his alleged actions was a slap in the face to the justice system. According to White, Durk's release was a prime example of the way the rap game operates, a system where wealthy and influential artists are able to escape the full weight of their crimes simply because of their status. "I don't care if Lil Durk's fans hate me for saying this, but I think he's guilty," White said in his online rant. "All these rappers get away with everything. They throw their money and fame around, and the justice system just lets them off the hook. It's a joke. Durk should not be getting released. He's involved in way too much shady stuff, and that murder-for-hire charge wasn't just some misunderstanding." White's disdain for the rapper culture, particularly the way in which high-profile artists like Durk are often exonerated or given lighter sentences, has been a recurring theme in his commentary. But with this recent outburst, he doubled down on his belief that Durk's fans are blind to the reality of his actions. White criticized the culture of rap and how it protects its own, pointing to the fact that rappers like Durk seem to have the ability to wriggle out of serious charges that would typically land regular individuals behind bars for much longer periods. For Charleston White, the issue isn't just about Durk's alleged criminal activities. It's about the bigger picture. He argued that the rap industry creates an environment where crime and violence are glorified, and those who commit such acts are often forgiven or even celebrated, as long as they continue to make hits. White vented his frustrations with a system that, according to him, allows artists to continue their careers while leaving a trail of destruction behind them. "It's a whole system that lets these guys get away with things," White said, shaking his head in disgust. "You think just because they make a hit record or throw some money around, they get to walk free? That's not justice. It's an insult to people who actually have to pay for their crimes." Lil Durk is a perfect example of this bullish *T. And yeah, I might get a lot of hate from his fans for saying this, but I don't care. They're just as blind as he is. White's frustration with the rap industry is rooted in his belief that artists like Durk are allowed to profit from a culture of violence, street ties, and criminality. Durk's music, much like that of many contemporary rappers, often references gang activity, drug dealing, and violence. And while many argue that his lyrics are just a form of artistic expression, White is having none of it. He feels that artists should be held accountable for the messages they promote, especially when those messages are linked to real-life harm and illegal activities. Charleston White's comments have, as expected, sparked a huge wave of reactions online. Many fans of Lil Durk have come out in full force, defending the rapper and accusing White of just trying to stir up controversy for attention. They argue that Durk was clear of the murder-for-hire charges in court, and that should be the end of the matter. Others have pointed out that Durk has already had his share of legal battles and should be allowed to move forward with his life and career. However, White supporters and critics of the rap industry agree with his views that Durk's legal outcome is another example of the rap game being a get-out-of-jail-free card for some. They point to the fact that many other rappers, including Tekashi 6ix9ine, And even people like Jay-Z have been able to avoid serious consequences due to their celebrity status. It's this perceived double standard that infuriates White and others who believe that the system is inherently biased in favor of the rich and famous. The justice system doesn't work for everyone, and Lil Durk is a prime example of that. White continued, "If you're famous, you can basically do whatever you want and get away with it. This is just another case of that happening. We're living in a time where these guys can do anything and still get to keep their careers and their freedom. It's messed up,